Excretory product and their elimination. Animals accumulate ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, water, ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, etc., either by metabolic activities or by other means like excess ingestion. These substances have to be removed total or partially. In this chapter, you will learn the mechanisms of elimination of these substances with special emphasis on common nitrogenous waste. Ammonia, urea, and uric acid are the major form of nitrogenous waste excreted by animals. Ammonia is most toxic form and required large amount of water for its elimination, whereas uric acid being least toxic. Okay. Ammonia. Ammonia is primary nitrogenous waste produced in living organisms. Uh, Ammonia is highly toxic, radially water soluble, required large amount of water for its removal. Ammonia can removed as ammonium ion through body surface and gill surface. Kidney do not play any sufficient role. Okay. Ammonia highly toxic, radially water soluble, required large amount of water for its removal. Ammonia can be removed as ammonium ion through body surface or gill surface. Kidney do not play any significant role. Kidney do not play any significant role. Highly toxic. Ammonia is highly toxic. Uh, ammo- Ammonia is highly toxic, radially water soluble, required large amount of water for its removal. Mm, Removed as an ammonium ion through body surface or gill surface. Kidney do not play any role in significant role. Or in Kidney do not play any significant role. Urea less toxic, less soluble, requires less amount of water for its removal. Small amount is stored in our body, in blood to maintain pH, and in kidney to maintain osmolarity. Organisms excreting urea and urotolic are mammals, marine fishes, and terrestrial amphibians. Okay, ammonia and urea. Ammonia is more toxic. Ammonia is highly toxic, whereas urea is less toxic. Ammonia, rapidly water soluble. Ammonium, rapidly water soluble. Urea, less soluble. Ammonia can be or for ammonia, for excretion of ammonia, high amount of water, large amount of water required, less amount of water required. Ammonia can be excreted in the form of ammonium ion through body surface and gill surface. Small amount of urea is storable in our body as blood maintains pH. Kidney to maintain osmolarity. Kidney do not play significant role. Kidney do not play any significant role. Urea urotolic. Mammals, marine fishes, terrestrial amphibian, aquatic arthropods, bonifish, aquatic amphibians. Uric acid, end product of protein metabolism, least toxic, not radially water soluble in blood. Okay, uric acid, end product of protein metabolism. Uric acid, end product of protein metabolism, least toxic, not radially soluble in blood, least amount of water for its excretion. and excrete in the form of pellet or paste. Organisms uricotelic, birds, reptile, insect, land, snail. Produced in living organism, highly toxic, not storable in body, radially water soluble, require large amount of water for its removal. Ammonia can be removed as ammonium ion through body surface. Kidney do not play any role. Organisms excreting to ammonia monitoring are aquatic arthropods, bony fishes, and aquatic amphibians. Tadpole, protozoan sponges, coelenterate, most tail-loused fish, modern bony fish, tadpoles of aquatic insect. Okay. Cartilaginous fish shark. It is one lifetime less toxic than ammonium. End product of least toxic, not radially soluble. Okay. End product of protein metabolism, least toxic. End product of not radially soluble. End product of protein metabolism, least soluble, not radially soluble in blood, least amount of water, for its excretion. Excrete in the form of pellet or paste. Organisms uricotelic, birds, reptile, insect. Birds, reptile, insect. Organisms uricotelic, pellet or paste. Not readily soluble in blood, least amount of water for its excretion. Excreted in the form of pellet or paste. Uricotelic. Organisms uricotelic. Reptiles, insect, and birds. Land snail also. Nitrogenous waste, ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Metabolic waste, water, carbon dioxide, sodium, chloride, potassium, sulfate, phosphate. Deamination হয় alpha keto acid. Amino acids in liver, deamination হয় alpha keto acid. Waste product. Removal of metabolic and nitrogenous waste accumulated during metabolism in our body or excess ingestion. Removal of metabolic and nitrogenous waste accumulated during metabolism in our body or excess ingestion. Excretory organ, protonephridia, nephridia, Malpighian tubules, antennal gland or green gland, kidney. Excretion and maintain osmoregulation. Help to remove nitrogenous waste and maintain a fluid and ionic balance. Help to remove. Okay. Small amount of urea is storable in our body, blood to maintain pH, and in liver to maintain kidney, not liver, and in kidney to maintain osmolarity. Least amount of water for its excretion. Okay. 655. Highly toxic, radially water soluble. Ammonia can be removed in the form of ammonium ion. Ammonia can be removed in the form of ammonium ion. Ammonia can be removed through aquatic arthropods, bony fish, aquatic amphibians. Less toxic, less water soluble, less amount of water required for store kidney hole for osmolarity and blood hole for pH maintain. Example case arthropod, amphibian, and marine fishes. No, mammals, marine fishes, and aquatic terrestrial (MMT). Mammals, marine fishes, and terrestrial amphibians. Frog. Mammals. Example MMT mammals, marine fishes, and aquatic amphibians. Then least toxic, least water soluble, least amount of water required for uric acid are removed in the form of pellet or paste. Example reptile, insect, and birds, and land snail. Excretory organ, Protonephridia, function and organisms. Okay, marine fishes, this is cartilaginous fish, mammals, frogs, shark. The land snail. It is 1 lakh times less toxic than ammonia is broken down in the liver by the process known as Ornithine cycle to produce urea. It is primary nitrogenous waste produced in adult living organisms. All living organisms. Ammonia in all living organisms. It is the most toxic and radial. Is not storable in the body, require excess amount of water. Organisms can excrete ammonia through the body surface and gills in the form of ammonia. Kidney don't play any significant role. Okay. Organisms excreting ammonia are called amniotic organisms. Aquatic arthropods, bony fishes, aquatic amphibian, protozoans, sponges, coelacanths, tadpoles. The flow of filtrate in two limbs of vasa recta is in opposite direction. Tubular reabsorption. Misuration. A survey of animal kingdom presents a variety of excretory structure in most of the invertebrates. These structures are simple tubular form, whereas vertebrates have complex tubular organ called kidney. Some of these structure mentioned here: protonephridia or flame cells are the excretory structure of platyhelminthes. Flatrons, example planaria. Rotifers, some annelids, and the cephalochordates. Amphibious. Protonephridia are primarily concerned with ionic and fluid volume regulation, that is, osmoregulation. Nephridia are the tubular excretory structure of arthroms and other annelids. Nephridia help to remove nitrogenous waste and maintain a fluid and ionic balance. Malpighian tubules are excretory structures. Malpighians tubules are excretory structure of the most of the insect, including cockroach. Malpighian tubules are excretory structure. Malpighian tubules are excretory structure of the most of the insect, including cockroach. Malpighian tubules help in the removal of nitrogenous waste and osmoregulation. Antennal glands or green glands. Excretory function of uh, crustaceans like prawn. Okay, protonephridia or flame cells are excretory structure in platyhelminthes, flatworm, example planaria, rotifers, some annelids, and the cephalochordates, amphibious. Okay, protonephridia or flame cell excretory structure of platyhelminthes, flatworm like planaria, rotifers, some annelids, and cephalochordates, that is amphibious. Protonephridia are primarily concerned with ionic and fluid volume regulation, that is osmoregulation. Nephridia are the tubular excretory structure of arthrom and other annelids. Nephridia are tubular excretory structure of arthroms and other annelids. Nephridia uh, are excretory annelids, arthrom and other annelids. Nephridia help in removal. Okay. Malpighian tubules are excretory structure of most of the insect, including cockroach. Malpighian tubule, most of the insect, including cockroach. An antennal gland or green gland is crustaceous like prawn. Protonephridia. Nephridia. Malpighian tubule. Total sidus. Vertebrates. Protonephridia or flame cells are excretory organs of flatworm like planaria, platyhelminthes, rotifers, some annelids, and cephalochordates. Nephridia are excretory organs of other annelids and arthrom. Malpighian tubules, insect like cockroach, antennal gland or green gland are crustaceous like prawn, arthropods. Okay, excretion and maintain osmoregulation, help to remove nitrogenous waste and maintain a fluid and animals accumulated ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, water, ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, etc., either by metabolic activities or by other means like excess ingestion. These substances have to removed totally or partially. In this chapter, you will learn the mechanisms of elimination of these substances with special emphasis on common nitrogenous waste. Ammonia, urea, uric acid are the major form of nitrogenous waste excreted by animals. Ammonia is the most toxic form, and urea requires large amount of water for its elimination, where uric acid, being the least toxic, can be removed with a minimum loss of water. The process of excreting ammonia is ammonotalism. Many bony fishes, aquatic amphibians, and aquatic insects are ammonotelic in nature. Ammonia, as it's radially soluble, is generally excreted by diffusion across body surface or through gill surface as ammonium ions. Kidney do not play any significant role in its removal. Terrestrial adaptation necessitated the production of lesser toxic nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid for conversion of water. Mammals, many terrestrial amphibians, and marine fishes mainly excreted urea and are called urocotelic animals. Ammonia produced by metabolism is converted into urea in liver. Ammonia produced Ammonia produced by metabolism is converted into urea in liver of these animals and released into the blood, which is filtrated and excreted out by the kidney. Some amount of urea may be retained in the kidney matrix of some of these animals to maintain a desired osmolarity. Reptiles, bird, land snail, and insect excrete nitrogenous waste as uric acid in the form of pellet or paste with minimum loss of water are called as urocotelic animals. A survey of animals kingdom present a variety of excretory structure. In most of the invertebrates, this structure is simple tubular form, whereas vertebrate has complex tubular organs like called kidney. Some of the structure are mentioned here. Protonephridia. Through Protonephridia excrete platyhelminthes, flatworm like planaria, rotifers, some annelids, and some annelids and cephalochordates, that is amphibious. The Nephridia, through arthworm and other annelids. Then I have Malpighian tubule, insect like cockroach. Then antennal gland or green gland, excretory function in crustaceans like prawn. Human excretory system. In human, the excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, one pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and urethra. Script 185. Okay. Nitrogenous waste excreted in the form of pellet or paste by landsland, okay, or insect, birds, and reptiles. Insect. Bravo. Select the option which shows correct matching of animals with its excretory organ and excretory product. Labio, nephridial ammonia. Housefly insect. D maybe. During muscle contraction, a thin myoclonic try. Salamander. Okay. Which of the following options gives the correct categories? Pigeon or human? Aquatic amphibians. Aquatic amphibians. Aquatic amphibians. Oh, aminotelic. Aminotelic. Aquatic amphibians. Eurocotelic pigeon lizard. Cockroach. Frog pigeon lizard. D maybe. C. Following options give correct categories of six animals according to the type of nitrogenous waste. Okay. Terrestrial. Aquatic arthropods. Okay, terrestrial. Mammals. In Eurocotelic ornithocycle 11C. Conversion of ammonia to urea is done by cardiac 10C forming cycle. 10C. Fumaric cycle. Uric is found in mammals. Uric acid. Birds, lands, insects, seeds. In ornithological cycle, which of the following waste are removed from the blood? Uric acid is the chief nitrogenous component of excretory product of sucrose. The principle of nitrogenous excretory compound in humans is synthesized in kidney but eliminated mostly through liver. Uh, in liver and also eliminated by same through bile. In liver but eliminated mostly through kidney. D maybe. Yeah. Uricotolic mode is externalized waste found in uricotolic, that is uric acid, insect, birds, and reptiles. Which one of the following characteristics is common both in humans and adult form? B. The ontococycle removes two waste, okay, CO2 and ammonia. 12H. The two examples in which nitrogenous waste are excreted from body in the form of uric acid are insect, mammals, uric acid, birds, and lizard. Maybe. Okay. Nitrogenous waste products are eliminated mainly as urea in tadpole, no, ammonia in tadpole, and urea in adult form. B. Body weight. Okay. Maximum water loss occurred during, okay, ammonia. Amphibious protonephridia, wrong limits. Grasshopper, Malpighian tubers, crab, flame cells. I guess 3. In humans, level of which of the following rises in blood if liver becomes functionless? Level of which of the following liver become functionless? 12. 3. Ammonia. Correctly matched. Archon, Malpighian tubules, no. Antenna and gland. Archon, flame cell, no. 2. Uric acid is produced in human due to metabolism of proteins. Purines? Urea is synthesized in liver of vertebrates from CO2 and ammonia. 5.2. Identify the incorrect match with respect to organisms and their excretory organs. Identify the incorrect match with respect to, okay, green gland, Uh, it's like spider, cockroach, multiple. Okay, incorrect. Protonephridia, green gland. Four, both one and two. Identify the incorrect maths. Oh, Gompalo. Amphicious. Cephalochordates, not protonephrid. La, 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 la. Trout. Trout. Ammonia is most toxic nitrogenous waste. Ammonia is radially soluble. Is generally excreted by diffusion across body surface. Terrestrial adaptation, production of less toxic waste like urea and uric acid. For what? Urea produced by metabolism is converted into ammonia in the liver of these animals and released into blood which is filtrated and excreted out by the kidney. Cell adaptation necessitated the production of four. Protonephridia. This is not human excretory system. In human, the excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, one pair of tooth.
our waste that we need to eliminate. और हमारे यहाँ पे फोकस किस पे रखा गया है? Nitrogenous waste. So quickly you summarize what is ammonia, what is urea, what is uric acid. Correct है? When you talk about ammonia, it is the primary nitrogenous waste produced in all living organisms. It is the primary nitrogenous waste produced in all living organism. प्रोटीन ब्रेकडाउन होगा तो अमोनिया रिलीज बनेगा ही बनेगा. सो प्राइमरी नाइट्रोजनस वेस्ट प्रोड्यूस्ड इन लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स बनेगा. कैरेक्टर क्या है? व्हाट इज इट्स कैरेक्टर? इट इज हाईली टॉक्सिक. दिस इज द फर्स्ट, हाईली टॉक्सिक. एंड सिंस इट इज हाईली टॉक्सिक, इट इज नॉट एट ऑल स्टोरेबल इन द बॉडी. आप बॉडी में स्टोर नहीं कर सकते हो. यू कैन नॉट स्टोर इट इन आवर बॉडी. करेक्ट है? highly toxic है, not storable in our body, but it is readily soluble in blood. Statement: this is readily soluble in blood, and this thing mixes so good with the blood that you require a large amount of water. You require a large amount of water for its removal. You require a large amount of water for its removal. Correct? Right? So it is a primary nitrogenous waste produced in the living organisms. It is highly toxic, not storable in the body. It is not storable in the body. It is readily soluble in the blood, and it requires a very large amount of water for its removal. It requires a very large amount of water for its removal. Ammonia can be excreted out as ammonia ion. Ammonia ion की तरह भी इसको body surface से कहाँ से? Body surface and gills. Ammonia can be excreted out as ammonia ions to body surfaces and gills, where kidneys do not play. Where kidneys do not play a significant role in its removal. Kidneys do not play a significant role in its removal. ठीक है? Right? So ammonia secreting organisms. Ammonia secreting organisms separately होते हैं. ठीक है? के examples याद रखना है आपको. It's very very important. और मैं यहाँ तक भी बोलूँगा कि इनके examples सब animal kingdom से भी relate करके लेके आए. ठीक है? Clear है? Right? So aquatic arthropods, polyphysians, aquatic amphibians, these are all that are secreting your ammonia. Next आता है क्या? Urea. Now urea, देखिए, where urea is produced? यूरिया इज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द लिवर थ्रू ऑर्निथिन साइड. ठीक है? यूरिया इज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द लिवर थ्रू ऑर्निथिन साइड. ठीक है? ऑर्निथिन साइड जहां पे इसका ब्रेकडाउन होता है. इसलिए लिवर में यूरिया का परसेंटेज या कंसंट्रेशन ज्यादा होता है. यूरिया का कंसंट्रेशन लिवर में ज्यादा है. इसका कैरेक्टर क्या है? इट इज लेस टॉक्सिक. इट इज लेस टॉक्सिक. इट इज लेस soluble in blood. It requires less amount of water. It requires less amount of water for its removal, and small amount of urea is storable in our body. Small amount of urea is storable in our body. ठीक है? So it is less toxic, less soluble in blood, requires less amount of water for its removal, requires less amount of water for its removal. Small amount of urea is storable in our body. Small amount of urea is storable in our body. और अगर आप बॉडी में स्टोर करते हो, कहां स्टोर कर सकते हो? Either you can store it in the blood, you can store it in the blood, or you can store it in the kidneys, or you can store it in the kidneys. If you are storing in the blood, it is helping you to maintain what? It is helping you to maintain your pH. And if you are storing it in the kidney, it is helping you to maintain the osmolarity. ये जो हमको बातें कंप्यूटर मेकेनिज्म में जाके इसके बारे में मालूम चलेगा. Clear है? Right? So it is, what are the characters? It is less toxic, less soluble in blood, requires less amount of water for its removal, small amount of urea is storable in our body. Right? Blood and kidney में स्टोर कर सकते हो. ब्लड में करने से मेंटेन pH, किडनी में करने से मेंटेन osmolarity. ठीक है? Right? Organisms excreting urea, eukaryotic organisms है, mammals है, marine fishes है, aquatic amphibians है, right? Etc. Correct है? Right? So these are certain examples. These are certain examples of organisms which are eukaryotic, and these are the characters. Right? In our body, it is produced in liver through ornithine cycle. ठीक है? Next क्या आता है? Next आता है आपका uric acid. And uric acid का character क्या है? It is the end product. It is the end product of protein metabolism. It is the end product of protein metabolism. It is least toxic. It is least toxic. It is least soluble. It is least soluble, and it requires the least amount of water. It is the least amount of water for its removal. It requires the least amount of water for its removal. समझ में आया नहीं आया? Correct है? Right? So organism excreting uric acid, uric को कहा जाता है अपनी ऐसी. ये ammonia से आता है. ठीक है? Right? So survey of the animal kingdom presents a variety of excretory structures in most invertebrates. Most invertebrates क्या है? These are simple tubular forms. Whereas invertebrates they have complex tubular organs called as kidneys. ठीक है? Some of these structures are mentioned here. Protonephridia. पहला क्या है? Protonephridia और lymph cells are the excretory structures in Tachyarthropods, right? Such as Chlamydia, rotifers, and some animals. And the cephalopoid Amphioxus. Protonephridia are primarily concerned with ionic and fluid volume regulation, that is osmoregulation. Nephridia are the tubular excretory structures of earthworms and other animals. Nephridia help to remove nitrogenous waste and maintain a fluid and ionic balance, again osmoregulation. Malpighian tubules are the excretory structures of the most insects. Most insects में malpighian tubules है, right? Including cockroaches, right? Malpighian tubules help in the removal of nitrogenous waste and osmoregulation. And last में आपको क्या मिलेगा? Antennal glands और green glands. They perform the excretory function of the crustaceans like pond. ठीक है? So ये कौन में आपको help करता है, correct है? Right? So ultimately in this survey of the animal kingdom आपको क्या क्या याद रखना है कि vertebrates में complex tubular structure होता है kidneys, protonephridia और stem cells कहाँ पे? Tachyarthropods में, Chlamydia और कैसे एकदम खास से याद रखना है? Rotifers and cephalopoid Amphioxus primarily being concerned with ionic and fluid volume regulation. उसके बाद क्या आता है? Nephridia are the tubular excretory structures of earthworms and other animals. Nephridia help to remove nitrogenous waste and maintain fluid and balance. उसके बाद आता है Malpighian tubules are excretory structures of most of the insects including cockroaches. Malpighian tubules help in the removal of nitrogenous waste and osmoregulation. उसके बाद ultimately antennal glands और green glands performing excretory function of crustaceans like crops. जब आपको ureter दिख जाएगा, ureter दिख जाएगा, फिर आपको urinary bladder दिख जाएगा, फिर आपको क्या दिख जाएगा? Urethra. So this is our excretory system. Whereas the main excretory organ is the kidneys. The main excretory organ is our kidneys. So when you look at the structure of the kidneys, the overall length कितना है? 10 to 12 cm आता है, width आता है 5 to 7 cm, thickness आता है 2 to 3 cm, average weight 120 to 170 ग्राम होता है, और कलर क्या होता है? रेडिश ब्राउन. ठीक है? इसका क्वेश्चन इधर से बनता है. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. पोजीशन से बनता है. पोजीशन से क्या क्वेश्चन बनता है कि इट लाइज बिटवीन कहां पे? लास्ट thoracic, that is the T12, and third lumbar vertebrae. The last thoracic, on the last thoracic there is T12, and between third lumbar vertebrae, L3, right? Along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. This line is very important. Along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. ठीक है? This is along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. ये अगर आपका abdominal cavity है तो ये साइड में dorsal walls के साथ क्या रहता है? चिपक के रहता है. ठीक है? इसको retroperitoneal cavity भी बोलते हैं. So it lies between the last thoracic, T12, and third lumbar vertebrae, along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity, which is also called as the retroperitoneal. Next आता है कि उसका अगर हम लोग external structure देखें, right? उसका अगर external structure देखें, right? Kidneys 3 लेयर में बटा हुआ है. The kidney has 3 layers, 3 outer layers. एक है renal fascia, outermost, बीच में रहता है adipose tissue, middle का, and last में रहता है renal capsule. ठीक है? So outer is renal fascia, बीच का adipose, and third layer होता है आपका renal capsule. जब आप kidney का surface trace करेंगे, when you are tracing the surface, ठीक? This is along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. ये अगर आपका abdominal cavity है तो ये साइड kidneys. So when you look at the structure of the kidneys, the overall is the length कितना है 10 to 12 centimeter length आता है, width आता है 5 to 7 centimeter, thickness आता है 2 to 3 centimeter, average weight 120 to 170 ग्राम होता है, कलर क्या होता है रेडिश ब्राउन. ठीक है, इसका क्वेश्चन इधर से बनता है, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. पोजीशन से बनता है. पोजीशन से क्या क्वेश्चन बनता है कि इट लाइज हमें लास्ट thoracic that is the T12 and third lumbar vertebrae on the last thoracic that is T12 and between third lumbar vertebrae L3, right, along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. This line is very important, along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. ठीक है, this is along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. ये अगर आपका abdominal cavity है तो ये साइड में dorsal walls के साथ ही क्या रहता है, चिपक के रहता है. ठीक है, इसको retroperitoneal cavity भी बोलते हैं. So it lies between the last thoracic T12 and third lumbar vertebrae along the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity, which is also called as the retroperitoneal cavity. नेक्स्ट आता है कि उसका अगर हम लोग एक्सटर्नल स्ट्रक्चर देखें, राइट, उसका अगर एक्सटर्नल स्ट्रक्चर देखें, राइट, किडनी 3 लेयर में बटा हुआ है. द किडनी हैज 3 लेयर्स, 3 आउटर लेयर्स. एक है रेनल फेशिया, आउटर मोस्ट, बीच में रहता है एडिपोस टिश्यू, मिडिल का, एंड लास्ट में रहता है रेनल कैप्सूल. ठीक है, सो आउटर इज रेनल फेशिया, बीच का एडिपोस एंड थर्ड लेयर होता है आपका रेनल कैप्सूल. जब आप किडनी का सरफेस को ट्रेस करेंगे, व्हेन यू आर ट्रेसिंग द सरफेस, ठीक है, ट्रेसिंग द सरफेस, ऐसे करके करके नियर टू द इनर कॉन्केव साइड आपको एक नॉच दिखेगा, एक गड्ढा दिखेगा, लाइक दिस नॉच, राइट. दिस नॉच इज नथिंग बट योर hilum. दिस नॉच इज नथिंग बट योर hilum. ये क्या है? दिस इज योर hilum, राइट. व्हाट इज द hilum? Hilum serves as an entry and exit point for blood vessels and nerves. सारे blood vessels और nerves इसी के थ्रू एंटर करते हैं, ठीक है, राइट. टुवर्ड्स द इनर साइड ऑफ द हिलम, अब अगर आप हिलम के पीछे आ जाओ, आपको
Human excretory system. In human, the excretory system consists of a pair of kidney, one pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. Kidneys are reddish-brown bean-shaped structures situated between the levels of last thoracic T12 and third lumbar vertebrate close to the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. Each kidney of an adult human measures 10 to 12 cm in length, 5 to 7 cm in width, 2 to 3 cm in thickness, with an average weight of 120 to 170 gram. Towards the center of inner concave surface of the kidney is a notch called hilum, through which ureter, blood vessels, and nerves enter. Inner of the hilum is a broad funnel-shaped space called the renal pelvis with projection called calyces. The outer layer of kidney is tough capsule inside the kidney. There are two zones, an outer cortex and inner medulla. The medulla is divided into few conical masses, medullary pyramids, projected into calyces. The cortex extends in between medullary pyramids as a renal column called column of Bartani. Each kidney has nearly 1 million complexes tubular structure called nephrons, which are the functional unit. Each nephron has two parts, the glomerulus and the renal tubules. Glomerulus is a tuft of capillaries formed by the afferent arterioles, a fine branch of renal artery. Blood from the glomerulus is carried away by the The renal tubule begins with double wall cup like structure called Bowman's capsule, which encloses the glomerulus. Glomerulus, along with Bowman's capsule, is called the Malpighian body of renal corpuscle. The tubule continued further to form a highly coiled network, proximal convoluted tubules. A heparin-shaped Henle loop is is the next part of the tubule which has descending and ascending leaf. The ascending leaf continues as another highly coiled tubule region called distal convoluted tubule. The DCT of many nephrons open into a straight tubule called collecting duct, many of which converge and open into the renal pelvis through medullary pyramids in the calyces. The Malpighian corpuscle, PCT, and DCT of the nephron are situated in the cortical region of the kidney, where the loop of Henle dips into the medulla. Okay. In majority of nephron, the loop of Henle too short and extend only very little into the medulla. The loop of Henle is too short and extend only very little into the medulla. Such nephrons are called cortical nephron. In some of the nephrons, the loop of Henle is very long and runs deep into the medulla. These nephrons are called juxtamedullary nephrons. The efferent arteriole emerging from the glomerulus form is fine capillaries network around the renal and around the renal tubules called the peritubular capillaries, a minute vessels of network. Run parallel to Henle's loop, forming U-shaped vasa recta. Vasa recta is present or highly reduced in cortical nephron. Okay. This is renal cortex, renal capsule. Okay. Kidney. Pair of length 10 to 12 centimeter, weight 5 to 10, thickness 2 to 3, average weight 120 to 170 gram. Bean shape, reddish brown color. Position, the kidney lies between last thoracic T12 and third lumbar vertebrate along the dorsal inner wall, abdominal cavity or retro peritoneal cavity. Reddish brown color, the kidney lie between last thoracic T12 and third lumbar inner wall of abdominal cavity. A vertebrate along the dorsal inner wall of abdominal cavity or also called as inner peritoneal cavity. External structure. Inner concave face nodes called hilum. Act as entry and exit for renal artery veins, blood vessels, and nerves towards inner side of hilum, a broad funnel-shaped area present called renal pelvis, with projection called calyces. Ureter, urinary bladder, ureter. Okay. Outer wall, renal fascia, middle, adipose tissue, and inner wall, renal capsule, that is tough fibrous. Outer renal fascia, adipose tissue, inner wall, renal capsule or tough fibrous. Renal capsule or tough fibrous. Renal fascia, adipose tissue, and renal capsule, tough fibers. Inner concave face nodes, hilum, act as an entry and exit for renal artery, vein, and nerves towards inner side of hilum, a broad funnel-shaped area, renal pelvis. Internal surface, inner medulla, divides into 8 to 12 conical masses, renal Medullary pyramids projected into calyx, major or minor, leads into renal pelvis, ends into medulla as columns, renal columns or columns of Burton. Nephron, functional unit of kidney, also called uriniferous tubules. 1 million in each kidney. Nephron is made up of glomerulus, tract of capillaries formed by afferent okay. Inner medulla divided into 8 to 12 conical masses called renal or medullary pyramids projected into calyxes, leads to renal pelvis, ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. Nephron, functional unit of kidney, also called as seminiferous tubules, 1 million in each kidney. Glomerulus, tract of capillaries, renal tubules, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule. Many DCT opens into single. Okay, afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole, Malpighian body or renal body, consists of glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. Efferent arteriole, PCT, DCT, CD, vasa recta, loop of Henle, UC. Cortex, Malpighian body, PCT, DCT. Juncta and cortical. Loop of Henle is long in juncta and cortical loop of Henle is short. Vasa recta present in juncta and cortical vasa recta absence. Minimum 50%. Maximum percent 85%. Emergency response size large. Normal response size small. Okay. Juncta, medullary, juncta and cortical. Juncta, loop of Henle long, vasa recta present, minimum 50%, size large and emergency response. Then cortical, loop of Henle short, vasa recta absent, minimum 85% and size small and normal response. Urine formation, glomerular filtration, ultrafiltration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion. Glomerulus, shaft of capillaries, renal tubules, Bowman's capsule, proximal. Okay. Malpighian body or renal body is consist of Bowman's capsules and glomerulus. Malpighian body or renal body. Malpighian body or renal body consists of Bowman's capsule and glomerulus.